to the Warzone Amateur Hour podcast.
All right, welcome back. It's the Warzone Amateur Hour podcast. We got Tron here, and I'm here with the 10-Inch-Cowboy. As always, how was your week in the Warzone, Cowboy?
It was good. Thank you for the spirited introduction this week. The week was horrible.
What?
I'm having just really bad issues all around, and it's so bizarre because I started playing a lot this week. From the beginning of the week, I was playing a ton. My significant other's out of town. I'm hitting the Verdansk map hard these days. And you'd think with the increase in gameplay, the quality of my game would increase, but unfortunately, right now what's happening is it's decreasing. There's some weird inverse rule happening with my gameplay right now. It's really, really bad. I'm also having some internet issues, which we'll discuss a little bit more in depth later on. But no, it wasn't the best week for me personally. But yeah, I'm just missing my shots, baby. You know how it goes. How are you? How was your week?
Well, a wonderful week for me in the Warzone. Working on a little bit different play schedule, kind of relegating my play this past week to the weekends, but fantastic sessions there on Saturday. Capping it off Saturday night, late night, me and you truly, ours truly there, playing late into the evening, getting 4 wins in one session on Resurgence quads, which was pretty delightful. Did you forget about that when you're talking about how you had a horrible week? Or come on, man.
I know, but I don't feel like I'm giving enough to the group anymore, you know? I used to be, I was on an upward trajectory, which I feel like now is trending down. And yeah, the wins are always great, but unless you're like, giving it to the group and providing value amongst the quad, sometimes you feel like a little loser. And that's kind of how I felt this week. What do you want me to say?
Wow. Okay. Well, I don't know if it's really you were overestimating your previous performances or now you're in a funk.
Could be.
But yeah, dealing with some connectivity issues, dealing with some technical hiccups, even just today playing, it seems like you've started to now reconfigure your sensitivity. Do you want to kind of share about that, how that's been going?
Yeah. So it's interesting. I think the way that this week started was that I started having some really interesting, like, weird lag things happening, which I had never experienced before because my internet's pretty good where I am. But I would be aiming at somebody and say I'm in with the car, looking down the sniper scope, and I have them in my crosshairs. And there was one instance in particular where I was on the top of Superstore, and this guy dropped in, and somebody was spectating me. So one of our listeners was spectating me, and I had this guy in my sights, and he wasn't far away. He was only like 50 or 60 meters, and in the sniper scope, that's a pretty big target. You know what I mean? He's like, I'm clearly aiming at him, and I pulled the trigger. It doesn't register a shot, and then very quickly, he just looks down the sight and headshots me. I'm in the gulag instantly, and I, lost it, and this guy was like, whoa. He's like, that was crazy. Your ping must be out of control. I'm like, ping? What do you mean ping? What is a ping? Like the golf brand ping? What do you mean? And no, he's like, your internet is lagging. Something's wrong. Like, it's not registering. Things are rubber banding. And then I went down this rabbit hole, and it's been like this all week long. And it really started Wednesday night. I was having these horrible internet issues to where at one point I was able to check my ping, which is something that I believe you showed me how to do in the account, whatever. And I was pinging over 1,000. I was rubber banding everywhere. So I'm having some internet issues, which I think kind of led to this, like, me changing my gameplay. And then now I'm starting to even unravel further where I'm starting to question my sensitivity metrics because I've never messed with my sensitivity before. It's always, I kind of just adapted to what it was. And now I'm thinking, oh man, maybe I need to change this, which I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just kind of all over the place. This week was frazzling for me,
Jesus Christ. Yeah, well, maybe you're going to need to get out your own journal and start talking about it. But yes, just to clarify, ping refers to latency, I believe is the more correct term according to Google. And essentially that refers to how quickly or how slowly data is transmitted from your device and then to the server and then back to your device. So kind of the ping and the, ping pong, I guess, is like it's going there and then it's coming back. So if you're at 1,000 milliseconds, that is quite a delay.
Yeah.
Severe delay there.
It's a I believe that's a full second. 1,000 milliseconds is a second. So I'm at a second delay at times.
I am no timekeeper, so I'll trust you on that.
I think. I don't know either.
But in terms of sensitivity, what were you rocking before was your like looking around sensitivities?
I was at non-ADS, just general stick sensitivity. I was at 5 and 5. So the horizontal and vertical was 5 and 5. And then my ADS at the low zoom and the high zoom were both 1.
So interesting. So your looking around was a little slower than most people, and I would say that your ADS was a little higher. So did you now bump the looking around up this last session, and what did you hit it to?
I did. I bumped it up to, per your recommendation, you had recommended 7, which is technically, I think, in the high category. Like it says high next to 7.
Oh, yeah.
And I only got 1 game in, but I definitely liked it more. I have noticed in the past, and I haven't made the change, which is, I guess, kind of insane, but I hadn't made the change. I don't like moving around slowly. Like I know what I want to do. Typically, it's the character I'm waiting on to do what my brain is implementing into the controller. You know what I'm saying? So if I can get a higher sensitivity, I'm just now connecting these dots, basically. I'm finally, the neurons are firing in my brain, and I think I might be onto something to help my gameplay, basically. But yeah, so I went from 5 to 7, and now I'm at 7. I did enjoy it. And then I lowered my ADS. Is it a ratio? I'm not sure what it actually is, the number, but I went from 1 on the high zoom and 1 on the low zoom. Brought it back down to, again, per your recommendation, a 0.5 on the low zoom and a 0.7 on the high zoom. I don't use a high zoom very often, so I doubt I'll even notice that because I'm not using the 2-tiered scopes very often these days.
You're using the car. The sniper scope is a high zoom weapon. It's over, I think high zoom is technically anything over 3.0 or 3.25.
Oh, okay. I stand corrected. Okay, so I do use that one a lot. Then the other one, maybe I'm not using as much.
Well, that's just standard ADS. But anyways, okay, so now...
Oh, okay.
You've kind of corrected things, balancing them out here. I'm curious to see next week when we talk how that's helping you out, because I haven't had a chance to share this. But yes, this has been a movable feast, I would say, for your boy, and trying to chase, like, what are my right sensitivities? Because I started out... I was on the 6 or the 5 looking around, and then I started to realize, like, if somebody's behind me and I need to, like, turn around 180 degrees, that's going to take me some time at the 6 sensitivity.
Yeah, which I don't like, because when you come into a house, or you're coming into some structure, or you're coming around a corner, and you need to check both sides, that lag, just looking left and right to, if you're trying to check your shit, it's really slow. If you're at, even at 5, which I was at, I was always thinking, God, this is slow. I can't see everything,
Yes, exactly. And especially with our narrower, field of view on the PlayStation or console, you got to be like twitching here. So I think that's a right move.
Yes.
And then on the flip side, I think having the high ADS, it makes sense. Like, I could snap to the target or whatever, but typically, you don't have to move the crosshair that much. I'm sure for us amateurs, there's times, we're way off from our aiming. But typically, like, you're looking somewhere in their proximity when you throw up the ADS, so you're not going to be needing to beam around. I think this is going to do you wonders. If your listeners are out there, you haven't fucked with your sensitivities, I say play around with that shit. Again, find what works for you. Because I feel really good about where I'm at. And actually... this kind of segues into our next topic, but this is my first week this past week with the old PS5 in the Warzone. And one of the things right out of the gate was when you hop onto that new console, you have to reconfigure everything. So I had to go in and like change all my fucking, sound settings, all that shit. And then I was like, wait, what were my sensitivity settings? And I played several games and it just wasn't right. I had to go reboot the old PS4 and write down basically what my settings were to port them over. But that said, it's been a bit of a change with the PS5, but it's also been the same. Like, it's not like now before I was seeing the Matrix and now I'm just seeing like the lines of code and I can just fucking, stop bullets with my hand. No, still getting smacked around very, very roughly in the Warzone.
Yeah.
But there's definitely some benefits. I mean, in terms of the resolution, amazing. The smoothness of the playing, probably the most noticeable thing. It's just the game plays smoother. But ironically for your boy, like what I've noticed is I've kind of had to readjust my timing, especially for sniping. And maybe this is me full of shit, which I'm always,
Very, very possible.
Yeah.
Very possible.
But I've noticed, like, when I was sniping, I think I kind of, especially for the PS4, we were playing on the slower frame rate. So I think I had to kind of adjust more and, like, lead more shots, farther away from the target.
Yes.
I'm kind of discovering now I can really get closer. Like, the cursor can kind of be not just a foot in front of them as they're running. I could be, like, right where their nose is or something. And so it was kind of like having to relearn the game. But I'm proud to say, like, a week in, starting to get back in the saddle, man. Starting to snipe really, really good.
Yeah, you've been sniping very well. Your snipe game has been probably your greatest asset of late.
Thank you. Wow.
But, yeah, so I my first question is, do you think you're better than me because you got a PS5?
Well, let's just say this now. Like, when we drop into the pregame lobby, I've been there where it's actually got a full 60-second timer. I'm getting more reps in now in the pregame because it's like, while I'm in that, you guys are in the waiting room, farting around. But yeah, no, I feel better, but still a little sad that I'm still getting slapped. But the climb's getting a little easier. Let's just say that. And pro tip out there for those of you that have the next gen consoles is you can download these high resolution texture packs that are available. I believe both PS5 and Xbox Series X or whatever it is. You just go into your Warzone settings, then you go to the general tab, check out game installs, I believe it's called, and then you're going to find those. Check them out. I really like them. Makes the game look really fucking amazingly nice, but I've heard it might slow your, FPS a little, but I say go for it. So that's the pro tip there from Tron.
Wait, so can I get those with the PS4?
No.
So you think you're better than me?
Yeah, with my texture packs, a little bit.
Wow. I'm over here contemplating if I need to go to an Ethernet cable because my Wi-Fi isn't connecting. I'm getting 1,000 millisecond pings delay on my shit, and you're sitting over here downloading high-resolution texture packets.
Yeah.
And you got the gall to rub it in my face.
Just like walking up to the Bertha, like looking at the tires, and there's just all this detail that my eyes can feast on. But that's really, where we've been this past week in the Warzone in terms of updates. The big rumblings were like, oh, the new crossbow is going to be released. And then what they actually did accidentally is they leaked it into their own game early somehow. I'm not sure how that even happened. So people got their hands on it in Black Ops Cold War. They were like grinding the shit out of it, J-God and these other content creators so that they could share about it. And then Treyarch, like halfway through the day, was like, oops, didn't mean to do that. So they pulled it out, and they were everyone's like, well, what about my fucking progress? And they thought it was going to be lost. Well, Treyarch finally backtracked and like, we're going to release the gun. They did on March 24th, and they're like, whatever progress you got for your camos is going to be there, and in terms of your leveling it, you'll be at 14 out of 15 or some shit. So now there's the new crossbow.
Dude, I got the crossbow. I got the new crossbow in Resurgence Rebirth, like on a Thursday, I think it was. I played with it. I had it. And I actually made the best crossbow shot of my life. Not that I've made a lot of crossbow shots, but yeah, I got it. We were playing Rebirth Resurgence, dropped headquarters, got it out of a crate, and I was kind of shocked. I was like, what is this thing? And then I had remembered that you had been talking about the new crossbow. And I was like, oh, that's cool. This is the new crossbow. Oh, it's got to be so cool. Da, 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 da. It holds like 8 in the chamber, I think, or 9 in the chamber. I believe, if I recall correctly, there's like a black, red, yellow, orangish vibe to it. And I was really stoked on it. And I ended up looking out of the headquarters second floor window towards the construction zone, right? You know where construction is?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There was a dude over there on it, and I just first shot with a crossbow, Hail Mary across the map there and I hit him dead in the back, and it only cracked him. And I couldn't believe how shitty it was, and I dropped the weapon and said, this is bullshit. If you're not going to get an instant kill with a crossbow, I don't want any part of it.
I remember this now. Now you're putting the memories back in my brain. I did have one myself, and you told me it was terrible, and I'm thinking in my mind, like, yeah, I'm still going to use it, and you're like, dude, it's not worth it. It was like echoing in my ear as somebody ran into my building, and then I shot him, I felt like through the heart, and like you said, it was just, I just plated him with the blue plates.
Incredibly shitty. I can't believe that's it.
And I immediately get killed because it takes you fucking like a whole year to reload that thing. So, yeah, still need some work on that one. I agree. If you're going to throw a crossbow in there, a skilled single-shot weapon, like that better be a fucking insta-down.
It's got to be. It's got to be. such bullshit. But yeah, so that's what happened to me.
So that's what's happening to us, and that's what's happening in Warzone. It's looking like we're in our final weeks here, as with April rapidly approaching of Verdansk, and our theories are just continuing to being solidified here with these leaks coming out. There was a new Easter egg discovered on Verdansk in one of the buildings. I think it's near downtown. There's like an actual map of Verdansk inside the game, like a decoration on the wall. And some player, again, I don't know how people fucking discover this, but players found that it doesn't happen all the time, but if you stand there and stare at this map, for some people after like 30 seconds or a minute, there's like an explosion and the map blows up. So like everyone's like, oh, foreshadowing, they're blowing up Verdansk.
Who the fuck is sitting in a building on downtown watching a static map and then it for 30 seconds and it blows? How do people figure this shit out? I guess there's just so many people playing this game worldwide. It's like, it's like the law, anything that can happen will happen kind of thing. People, it's just like there's so many instances happening at all times because there's so many people playing across the globe. People just find shit. That's the only way. Because like, how,
That's what I'm saying.
Unless, not to get too conspiratorial, but unless like Raven or these motherfuckers are like, like telling their friends like, hey, you should go downtown, take a look at this map, and they're like dropping hints.
That's interesting.
Because how do you find this? I just don't understand.
That's interesting. Either way, that's in the game right now. But what leaked here, there's a report by Game Rant, an online publication for gaming, and they have some pretty specific details they believe are going to be happening. As we theorized last week, we said the end of Verdansk, is it going to be like an event? Here's what they're saying. I'll quote them. They said once the zombies have spread throughout Verdansk, which they've now...
Wait. Well, what does it mean by spread throughout Verdansk? Because it's so obvious they're just going spot to spot to spot. Is there, and I think we had this conversation last week, is it just they're going to go to all the major spots across the map? Or is it going to be that there's actually a flooding of zombies across the entirety of the map? Because that, I think, would actually be kind of cool.
Well, as it is now, they're bouncing around location to location, to track the progress here for those following along, like the game of life. They're moving around the fucking squares here, the zombies. Started off on shipwreck, then they moved to prison, then they moved to hospital, and then this past week, they're now in bank.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
And to tease that, they mailed people fucking piggy banks, these content creators, this week.
It's such a horrible marketing scheme. Who are these people and why do they think this is cool? I just don't understand.
I don't know.
But I would like one of those banks. If anyone's listening, you could shoot them my way.
So anyways, to hopefully answer your question here, as I read on, they said once the zombies have spread throughout Verdansk, a new game mode called Plague will supposedly be added, and according to a leaked description and several voice lines from the mode, which we also talked about, players will be tasked with clearing out infected hotspots, likely to be all the locations that the zombies have spread to, and players that succeed will successfully leave the area. Those that fail will see a nuke being called in, however, and they will have one final chance to fight through the undead as they reach the extraction zone. Apparently, this failure is in the canon ending, and players can expect the nuke to be launched from one of Call of Duty Warzone's silos.
Yeah, that's essentially exactly what we had, right?
I guess it's looking like maybe the zombies won't be fully overrunning Verdansk. Maybe they'll be active at all those hotspots at once. This doesn't really clarify that. So here's to hoping that they are spread out, but they're calling it now Zombie Plague, so it's looking like, as we said, we might be getting some sort of special mode. I don't know if this sounds all that fun. We'll probably try it.
Oh, of course. We got to try it. Of course.
But speaking of new maps, we had an interesting question posed to us by, someone we play with regularly here, Scared of Clowns. And he offered up a good question, which is, when they release this new map, which will now be over a year into Warzone, do we think that's going to bring about a reset to the current Warzone stats?
I really hope so. It took me a long time to understand. As I've said, publicly, I wasn't really a video game guy before Call of Duty Warzone came out. I put a lot of learning time in just general video gameplay into Verdansk, which has been reflected in my dog shit KD. I also love to use the excuse that my girlfriend plays on my account all the time.
Which was probably like twice during your first month, but yeah, sure.
Yes. Oh, I mean, if we're being honest, comparing the amount of times that I've died and the amount of times she's died on Verdansk, it's like, it's truly inconsequential, but I still do blame that. So I am from the perspective of, yes, let's get this change. Let's wipe our KDs. Let's start fresh. Maybe, I mean, I am forever shamed as an amateur, no question, with how many times that I've died on Verdansk and what my current KD is. I would love the opportunity to restart it.
Well, I think in having this conversation, we also touched on something that's pretty true, is like, at this point, for players like us who have been there since, season 1 or maybe season 2 of the very beginning, like, your stats are so entrenched now. The numbers are so high that to really influence your KD in a like really significant manner, I just don't know how you fucking do that. Like, if I go on a heater and I get 10 kill games, let's say like 5 times in a row, I might tick up like 0.1 or 0.2, but I ain't fucking getting where I'm trying to be. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing.
I don't even think 0.1 or 0.2 is on the table. It's like 0.01 or 0.02. The ratio is incredibly difficult to influence at this point. You would have to go on a heater for like 6 months and play at like a 4 or 5 KD level to bring your shit up. You know what I mean?
That's how I'm thinking.
Because it's just, you've already logged so many games.
Yeah. So, and we've touched on way back, I think one of our first few episodes, we talked about, when they introduce a new multiplayer standalone game, they reset all that shit. Your fucking KD on Modern Warfare 2019 has no effect on your KD in Black Ops Cold War, yet, Warzone, what are they going to track this for years from now? Like, that's pretty gnarly, dude. I mean, I guess keep the wins on the table, maybe keep some of these other stats, but like, let's wipe the KD. Let's get it off. Let the boys,
Yeah. Well, I mean, or what would be cool is that they'd allow you to choose if you'd like to. Would you like to start fresh?
I like that, because the only other way is to create a new account, from my understanding, and I'm not fucking doing that.
I might have to create a new account when I get a PS5 someday, because it would be nice to have a better KD. But again, I'm the co-host of a podcast that's called Warzone Amateur Hour, where we talk about how terrible we are at the game. So I guess it doesn't really matter. It's public knowledge that I suck at the game, but I guess for my own ego, I'd like to get a better KD,
Yeah, it's public knowledge, and it's a personal failure, too. It's public and private there together. But that said, speaking of stats, speaking of tracking KDs, we've talked about this website, warzonesbmm.com, huge resource for the community, really opened up the transparency of what's going on with the lobbies. Well, this week, big news, they revealed, Warzone SBMM did, that Activision is threatening to sue them. They've basically given them an ultimatum saying, shut your shit down by this date, or we're sending our fucking cable of lawyers over there, and we're sending your ass to fucking the real gulag.
Wow. That's quite a powerful way to put it. I don't understand. So why are they suing them? What is the issue?
So, just for legal reasons, that is not what they said. Yeah, this is fair use. I plead the fifth. Anyways, Activision is claiming...
What are you talking? Wait, what? What?
I'm just saying, I'm not trying to disparage Activision in any meaningful way here. This is all covered under fair use, under criticism of legal entities, so I am not bound to your laws. Anyways, what I read is that Activision are claiming that warzonesbmm.com is using their proprietary API, which I don't know what that means. But I think it basically means they're using their data stream or something, and they didn't have permission to do so. So now they're saying cease and desist, fucking stand down. We're shutting your shit down. So Warzone SBMM, for their parts, hey, we've been reaching out, trying to, rectify this situation. We want to make it right. Doesn't look like that's going to be the case. So it's looking like that site's going to be shutting down. No longer going to be able to track your diamond lobbies, your gold lobbies. What do you think about this?
I think it's bullshit. I think Activision has a thumb up their ass, and they're not paying attention to the pulse of the pulse of the community. I like knowing that. It's good to have accountability to see what kind of lobbies you're getting. We talk about these holding Activision accountable for like if you have a game and you're favoring people that are making in-game purchases, well, that's fine, but don't hide that from us. Let us know that. I feel like these accountability websites like SBMM were a step in that direction. You know what I'm saying? Like at least they're unveiling the stage so we can see what's behind the curtain. And I want that. But at the same time, Activision is a private company. They put this game out there for free and they can do whatever the hell they want. So it's interesting. I wish it was still around. I like that stuff because I know now when I'm getting smoked in like a diamond lobby, which I don't typically get put inside if I'm playing with you. But if we're playing with some PC gaming friends of ours, we'll get thrown into those lobbies. I like seeing those stats. I'm an analytics guy. Send it my way, And I think it's important. I mean, it keeps people engaged if you have another level of, if they're checking this website, why would you discourage them to learn more about your game? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I'm with you there. I think, when you gotta take things like this, like look at the intent. And I don't think the intent of SBMM is to make a buck off the back of these guys. Maybe they are. I did hear Jagog kind of saying that they've monetized this in some way, which I guess that makes it fair there. But at the same time, like all these content creators selling merchandise and fucking putting their names on G Fuel and shit, like you could argue that's kind of doing the same thing. But whatever, man. I just looked it up though. And API stands for Application Programming Interface. And to clarify, they're claiming that SBMM Warzone uses the Call of Duty API to obtain player data. So that's really the heart of this. I don't want to defame or disparage either party here, as I said, for legal reasons. I hope they can find a solution because early on, remember when they blocked the stats, it was like, oh, they're fighting. And then they were like, no, we fixed it. And now Warzone SBMM's working again. And then this shit happens. And it's like, it's just a war, man, out there. It's a war zone within the war zone, dude.
Wow, that's so deep. Wow. I bet you're proud of yourself there.
Yeah, so we'll keep tabs on this story as it evolves. As of now, I think the site is still up, but if you go there, they put it right on the front page, what's going on. They'll keep you up to date, keeping our fingers crossed. But in some positive news here on the Warzone Amateur Hour front, our regiment's been growing rapidly. We're now over like 50-something people here, amateurs. And what's better is I heard from a listener here, I got an email from Pasky, I believe it was, and he said he was, looking to play. He hopped into the old regiment tab, found a guy he'd never played with, but he was rocking the WAH. His name was Shredaholic365. These guys are two randoms. I don't even know where they're living on the planet, but they met up in the Warzone, teamed up as a duos, and they got a win together as amateurs. I don't know if that's the peak of the fucking regiment right there, right?
You gotta love it. Yeah, I mean, when you got random people coming together to get Warzone victories, it puts a little bit of a tear in your eye, you know what I mean?
Oh, yes, baby. Tear in my eye, streaking down my face, just touched by this. Bringing the amateurs together, dude.
That's great. Yeah, no, it's really cool. It's really cool.
They beat the Sweat Lords, man. They teamed up to beat the Sweat Lords. That's what we can do. You see what happens when you fucking join up?
Yeah.
And you listen to the podcast?
I wonder if they're playing together more and more. I'd be curious it'd be so cool if friendships were formed, Like if there was a little community that came together because of this.
I mean, maybe down the line, baby. Maybe down the line. We got some big plans here for the future. But speaking of listeners, we hopped into some games here with the listener, Bonham the Fourth, I think it was. Amazing teammate, great fucking force.
He's pretty good. He's better than me, for sure.
Yeah, oh, very good. Yeah, I mean, that's typically how it goes for us.
Yeah.
And then we got another email from a listener here, Patrillionaire, who had a question for us that we're going to discuss here now. And he said, do you guys have any sort of rule system when you play? So he said, for example, when he and his friends play and they're in the last circles, they have a rule to never question the other's decisions because they don't want to end up being killed because they're separated or just like arguing over what to do. So it's kind of like a chain of command thing. You fucking do this. So I thought that was an interesting question. Do we have rules?
Well, working backwards, I think at the end of the game, if we're both still alive, typically at the end of the games, it's like one person just trying to survive, typically. And one thing that I like to do, I'll usually mute myself because when I'm alone at the end of a game and you have multiple teammates telling you what to do, it can drive me wild. and piss me off because it's like, listen, I know I'm just like let me do my thing. So on the other end of that, if you say you're alone, I'll mute myself at times. If there's like 6 people left and you got one teammate, it's like you can't really, like if you're like, oh, there's a guy to the left, like of course, like just it's not helpful. So I mute myself. From the start of the game, typically, obviously, we let one person choose where we want to go. Someone makes the decision. It's like, who's calling it, where are we going? Somebody chooses. I mean, I don't know if that's a rule, but you just let whoever chooses choose. We don't usually like second guess it unless it's like really, really stupid, I guess. But that doesn't happen very often. I don't know. I mean, one thing that bothers me is when somebody gets down and there's like a apparent gunfight happening and someone's like, oh, I'm down. Get me. It's like, dude, I will get you. Just let me survive and handle the situation. Our friends are pretty good about that. Some of our friends are not as good. They're a little more vocal. Sometimes I'm vocal, but I try not to be. So I feel like that's like an unsaid rule is like, yeah, if you're down and obviously like the guy doesn't realize you're down and you need to get saved, you can say something, but like don't pester a player that's in the middle of a gunfight about getting you up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I asked about rules. Sounds like we're hearing some fucking serious gripes that have gone unspoken from the Cowboy, but I'm with you. I agree with everything you're fucking laying down here.
Yes, maybe that's what that is.
Yeah, I agree with you. If you get fucking downed, you're not the priority anymore. Your priority is to get to safety and sit your little ass down and watch the little fucking ticker get down. And actually, what you should be doing is pinging motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Because at that point, you got to expect you're dead, all right? And the team's success is not going to lie with you getting revived. It's going to fucking lie with your teammate who's alive staying alive.
Yeah. Amen.
So that's where we are there. I think we're in agreement on that. To touch on the other thing, which is actually a topic I've been meaning to bring up, is exactly what you talked about, is the experience of being alive when you have teammates who are dead and they're like giving you instructions, like coaching. It's kind of, there's a difference between giving information versus giving instruction. How do you feel about those two things?
Yes. I mean, I think it can be really condescending if they're giving you instruction. You know what I mean? Like if they're like, oh, there's a king over here if you want to get that. There's this over here if you want. That's informational. I like that. Yes, I enjoy that. Oh, will somebody please ping where I should be headed? Like I'm doing this. Will somebody grab? Like, it's a team effort. We have Scared of Clowns is really good at that. I've noticed. To throw him a bone. When he dies, he's really good at giving information. And I mean, he's not like telling you what to do necessarily. It's more informational. Suggestions. But what happens is you have other people that are, telling you what to do. Like, oh, pick this up, get that. Like, oh, what, and it's like, shut the fuck up. I know generally what to do. I'm not going to like become some superhero gameplay. My aim is not all of a sudden going to be a shredder status because you're telling me what to do. You know what? I do have a lot of thoughts on this, and this is getting me worked up now that we're talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. Like, I don't need you to fucking narrate me and give me instructions. When I die and I'm spectating, my goal is typically, the main thing I'll usually read out is how many people are left so they can be aware of what's going on. How many teams, how many people. Also, if I'm looking on the TAC map, I see some things bleeping, I'll be like, okay, there's fire over here, there's fire over there. But then you play with these people and they're like, oh no, you need to get in that building. No, go left. No, oh, there was some money back there. Oh, it's like, shut the fuck up. I'm in a gunfight here, man. If you were so fucking smart, you would have been alive right now too.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Woo.
So yeah, I'm with you. I think, as a strategy for being a supportive teammate when you're dead, give us the information, all right? Not spare me the fucking instruction, because like you said, most of the time, I know it. It's like, there's a guy there shooting at you, kill him. Oh, thanks. I had no fucking idea. Silly me. I didn't plan on killing him. I was just going to sit here like a dickhead.
Fuck me, right? Yeah.
Because you're so fucking smart and omnipotent watching in the fucking, it's a different experience when you're in the back seat of the car watching the driver navigate shit. You can see things, but it's like when your hand's on the wheels, you got to fucking feel every vibration, baby.
Yeah, wow. The anger that has been, stirred up amongst us. This conversation, what a question. Didn't think it was going to go this direction, but yeah.
Yeah, well, let's bring us back to the original question, which was rules. And to answer that, I think there is one rule we have, which is starting to maybe change, is when you buy back someone, as a team, our rule is we just buy back whoever is on top. Now, the interesting thing is, to me, it's a fucking mystery how Warzone kind of determines that order, because it's certainly not like in the order you died. I see all the time is like I'm at the top of the list waiting, and then somebody else dies, and then they hop me to the top.
Wait, you should define what top of the list is, because that's a little vague if you're just, be a little more detailed about what the top of the list is.
So I'm not sure if you guys out there noticed, but when your players are dead and you look on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen where it shows your squad mates, it'll show them stacked in an order, like somebody on top, second, third, fourth. And then when you go to the buy station to buy people back, they are displayed in that exact same order. So our rule is like if, 3 people are dead and somebody's got to buy back, how do you make the decision about who's being granted life back into the Warzone Earth? With us, we just came up with a situation where it's like whoever is on top when I go to the buy station, which as I said, you can already tell who that's going to be by looking in the bottom left, that's who gets bought back.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is the issue is we don't know how those orders are fucking determined. It seems completely arbitrary. I don't know if you guys got any insight out there.
Yeah, actually, if there's an answer to that, that's something that we've thought about for a long time. We believe that it's just randomly generated the stack order, the vertical stack order on the bottom left. But if anyone knows anything, that would be really great information to have, because I would love to rig that to be at the top. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, same, baby. Because I felt like for a while it was always putting me at the fucking bottom, even when I was like the first dead waiting around, So that's really our only rule, as you said, in terms of where we drop. That's kind of a team collective decision, but we're interested if you out there have any other like unwritten rules or informal, chains of command you follow. Great question there though from Petrillionaire. Hopefully we answered it a little bit before going off on that wildly erratic and passionate rant.
Heated. It was heated.
But in terms of other news on the podcast, we're glad to be saying that we were featured on a list of the top 20 Call of Duty podcasts you should follow in 2021. We have a link in our description for the previous episode, and we'll have it in this episode. Go ahead, check it out. Give us some, cross links. Get us some domain authority. Help us out. Appreciative to that, to be celebrated alongside these other podcasts. We're growing every week. Exciting times.
Very exciting times. Yeah, I mean, always good to be on lists, Hopefully this is the first of many lists, but lists are good, baby.
Yeah, and in terms of our submissions for Warzone Fails, we've gotten some great ones. We're going to be editing those together, doing a breakdown, so that should be going live shortly. If you have any ones you haven't sent in, get them in, but we've gotten some really fantastic ones I think you'll all be excited to check out. Also, now that your boy Tron's on the PS5, I can be clipping clips in 1080p, so we got some full HD gameplay clips already up on the YouTube channel. Check it out if you haven't already.
It's incredible how you just love to consistently remind people how you think you're better than me because you have a PS5.
Well, I hope every time you log in and you see me in there, you're just like jealous and like feeling inadequate, because that's my goal.
I'm not even going to respond to that. I'm not even going to respond to it.
All right, well, any final thoughts here on our episode this week? Big one for us.
No, I think I'm going to buy an Ethernet cable. I made the decision during this conversation. I'm going to go hardwired. I'm done with the Wi-Fi. My gameplay is suffering too much. That's where my mind is. Just, fixing my gameplay. That's all I got. That's how I feel. I mean, I try to bring positivity to every episode, but, there's some weeks where you're just getting shit on. And, a lot of people think you're just complaining because you're inept, but actually there could be a technical issue and a lot of anger right now. So that's how I'm going to end it.
Well, you got 4 Rebirth wins in one night, including one of which where you got the final kill. So, chin up there, buddy.
Did I get the final kill?
Yeah, go check it out. I think our teammate clipped it and sent it along.
Oh, I'll check that out. I didn't know.
Either way, you were there.
I was there. Yeah.
Yeah, I was down watching. Speaking of information, fucking that clip was insane. I was down for the last 5 kills of the match, just pinging motherfuckers, screaming out, maybe talking a little too much. I don't know. That was us. This week, it sounds like you're going to be working on yourself, trying to improve, as we all should. I'll be doing the same, try and get my sniping a little bit teed up. I'm only 50 kills away from getting that new sniper scope, so get ready.
Gotta love it. Yeah.
That's going to do it for us, though, here on the podcast this week. Thanks so much for dropping into the Warzone Amateur Hour. Please subscribe or follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Check out our YouTube page for some of these videos. Like I said, full HD action coming at you, and our new breakdown coming soon. We're going to be talking to you next week. But until then,
Good luck in the gulag.
good luck in the gulag. Only a few weeks left of this shitty gulag, hopefully. You!